After 17 years crafting Seattle's skyline, my boss, James Thornton, fired me, sneering I was too expensive, never imagining I'd uncover his lies and watch his empire crumble like the shoddy buildings he tried to hide. I'm Robert Miller, 47, and this is how I turned his betrayal into my victory. James Thornton thought I'd vanish, broken and defeated. He was dead wrong. I'm Robert Miller, 47, senior architect at Thornton & Hayes, Seattle's top firm. In April 2025, my wife, Claire, and our son, Lucas, 16, are my world. Our West Seattle home, with its cedar deck where Lucas shoots hoops under a Seahawks cap, holds our dreams. Until James tried to crush them, 6 p.m. My eyes stung from hours on blueprints for a waterfront plaza. My inbox pinged. James's email hit hard. "Robert, you're too expensive. Clear your desk." My chest tightened. Steel beams seemed to snap. I called him. "You serious, James? After 17 years? He laughed. "You're done." "Robert, deal with it." 17 years? I designed the Hayes Spire, won awards, mentored half the firm. Too expensive? The call ended, his words echoing like a slammed door. After my boss fired me for being too expensive, after 17 years as senior architect, my world tilted. I sank into my office chair, staring at Lucas's pencil sketch of a bridge, taped to my monitor from his school art fair. "Dad, you make real ones," he'd said, grinning, his eyes bright. That was my legacy. Our Sunday BBQs, coaching Lucas's team, Claire's warm laugh over morning coffee. Now, it was slipping through my fingers. I checked my bank app, hands shaking. Savings would last a few months, but the severance was a measly $10,000. I stormed to HR, badge still clipped to my shirt. Nora Clark, the HR rep, avoided my gaze, her fingers fidgeting. "It's final. Robert, James's decision." She slid a contract across the desk, my signature on a voluntary resignation. The ink was too clean, too precise. "I never signed this," I said, my voice low and hard. Nora flinched, muttering about clerical errors. This wasn't just a firing. It was a setup. 3 weeks ago, at a client pitch, something felt wrong. James unveiled my plaza design, but my name was missing from the slides. Ryan Brooks, a junior I'd trained, stood beside him, smirking like he'd earned it. I'd brushed it off, blamed exhaustion. Now, it clicked. I texted Emma Hayes, my former mentee, now at a rival firm. "What's James saying about me?" Her reply hit like a punch. "He's telling clients you're washed up. Robert, Ryan's taking credit for your work. Watch your back." Ryan, the kid I taught to draft, stealing my designs. James thought he'd buried me. He'd picked the wrong fight. I called David Quinn, my lawyer friend from Ballard, my voice calm but firm. "David, James faked my name, stole my work. I need you to dig into this." He didn't hesitate. "Send me everything. I'll tear his lies apart." I stared at Lucas's sketch, my jaw tight. Nora's voice from the last office party echoed, syrupy and false. "James is our firm's skyscraper, a towering figure in my heart." A skyscraper? I'd see how fast it fell. Was this just a firing or a darker plan to erase me? James Thornton thought he'd erased me after my boss fired me for being too expensive, but I found his $5 million scam buried in a server, igniting a workplace revenge that would burn his lies to ash. My office felt like a tomb, rain streaking the windows of Thornton & Hayes under Seattle's gray April sky. I sat at my desk, the hum of my PC fading, James's cold email still searing my mind. 17 years building this firm, and he'd faked my name, stolen my designs. I wasn't going down without a fight. At 6 p.m., my phone buzzed, snapping me from a haze of anger. Emma Hayes' text glowed on the screen, urgent and sharp. Robert, check your old server login. Something's fishy. My heart pounded, fingers fumbling as I booted my laptop. I logged into the firm's archive, my badge still clipped to my shirt like a ghost of my career. A hidden folder, labeled JHI Private, stared back, locked behind a password I'd set years ago. Inside emails between James and Ryan Brooks, dated March 2025, hit like a gut punch. James wrote, "Miller's out, fake his name, we'll sell his plaza to Pinnacle for $5 million. Ryan replied, "Done. Clients think I'm the lead now." My blood boiled. They'd stolen my work, faked my resignation, and built their scam on my legacy. I called Emma, keeping my voice low, the office too quiet around me. "What else do you know about this, Emma?" Her words came fast, tense and hushed. "James is pitching your plaza to Pinnacle, claiming Ryan designed it. They're using cheap steel. Robert, that plaza could buckle under a storm." I gripped the phone, picturing Lucas's bridge sketch taped to my monitor. $5 million and they're risking lives? "Keep digging, Emma. Anything you find, send it to me." She paused and then said, "I'm sticking my neck out for you, Robert, because you deserve better than this." I nodded, though she couldn't see. "Stay safe. This is for Lucas." I emailed James, testing his nerve, my pulse racing like before a deadline. "James, let's talk severance. 17 years deserves more than $10,000. His reply landed within minutes, dripping with smugness. "No dice, Robert. Take the money and disappear." I saved it, my teeth clenched. He thought he'd won, his skyscraper empire untouchable. I called Nora Clark in HR, pushing hard. "Who signed my resignation?" "Nora, I want answers." Her voice cracked, unsteady. "James handled it. I just filed the paperwork." I leaned closer, my tone sharp and cold. "You're telling me you didn't notice a fake name? Nora? You? Who calls James a skyscraper in your heart? The firm's unshakable tower?" Her face flushed, her hands trembling. I'd heard her fawn over James at the last office party, her words thick with flattery. Now, they rang false, her loyalty as shaky as cheap steel. Lucas's words from last week gnawed at me. "Dad, why's Ryan at your office so late?" He'd seen Ryan leaving after hours, briefcase in hand, under the office's dim lights. I'd dismissed it then, but now it clicked. Ryan wasn't just stealing my credit. He was James's pawn, digging my grave. I called Sam Vega, an IT freelancer I'd hired for server upgrades, a guy who could hack anything. "Sam, I need James's deleted emails." "Off the books." He chuckled, his voice rough. "Give me 48 hours. Ryan was snooping in the server room last month, acting cagey." Hours later, Sam sent a file that stopped my heart. James's email to Paul Ramsey, Pinnacle's CEO. "Miller's gone. We'll use cheap steel. Save $2 million, Paul replied. "If this leaks, we're done." I dodged Miller's calls last week. "He's on to us." I froze, the scales sinking in. A $5 million deal, built on my work, risking collapse. David Quinn emailed, his words cutting. "Robert, the faked resignation breaks Washington law. James owes you $500,000 in back pay, plus damages. Pinnacle's deal stinks of fraud." I stared at Lucas's sketch, my heart twisting. No job, no legacy. 17 years. Gone. Emma texted again, her words frantic. "James caught me snooping, yelled I'd ruin his deal. He's losing it. Robert." I typed back, my fingers steady. "Stay low. Keep Lucas safe." James thought I was finished, jobless, defeated. He was wrong. Sam's emails were live. Emma was watching. David was ready. Was this just greed, or a scam that could cost lives? Rain pounded my windshield as I pulled into Thornton and Hayes' parking lot. Seattle's skyline dim under April's heavy clouds. My fight for justice, sparked by James Thornton's $5 million scam, was becoming one of those revenge stories that could shake a city. I wasn't just an architect anymore. I was a father battling for Lucas, for my name, against a man who'd faked my name and stolen my life's work. The office loomed like a stranger's domain, my badge useless now. But I was here to turn the tables. David Quinn met me at a Ballard diner, the kind with cracked vinyl booths and coffee steam curling in the air. His eyes were sharp, his voice steady. "Robert, we've got James on the ropes. Sam's emails prove he faked your name, stole your designs. Emma's files show Pinnacle's Plaza uses cheap steel, violating Washington code." I nodded, my jaw tight, gripping my coffee mug. The law was my weapon now, and David was ready to wield it. "What's our next move?" He leaned forward, his tone firm. "We file tomorrow. Fraud, theft, defamation. James's empire is crumbling." My phone rang, James's name flashing like a warning. I answered, bracing for his lies. His voice oozed fake warmth, like a salesman pitching a bad deal. "Robert, I know you're hurting out there. Sign a non-disclosure, take the $10,000, and start fresh for your boy." The gall of it burned, his arrogance thick. "Sign away my legacy for pocket change?" I kept my voice even, cold as steel. "Let's meet tomorrow. James, I'm open to talking." He sighed, almost smug. "Good man. Robert, you're doing right by Lucas." I hung up, rage simmering. Good man. After he stole $5 million of my designs, slapped a fake name on my resignation, he had no clue who he was dealing with. Another call came, an unknown number lighting up the screen. "Robert, it's Ryan Brooks." Warning, his voice trembled, like he was hiding in a dark corner. My grip tightened, my pulse spiking. "Why are you calling? Ryan, got more designs to steal?" He rushed, words spilling out. "James is cutting me loose. Robert, he's selling your plaza, blaming me if it collapses. I didn't fake your name. I swear it." I stayed silent, letting him squirm. "Why should I believe you now, after you took credit for my work?" He whispered, desperate. "I recorded James with Pinnacle's CEO. I'm done with his lies." The line went dead. Ryan turning on James? It smelled like a trap, but I'd play it smart. Emma called next, her voice low and urgent. "Robert, Lucas asked why you're so tense. James is unraveling. He owes $50,000 to a contractor for rushed materials. He screamed at me, hands shaking, saying I'd ruin him." My heart sank, picturing Lucas's confusion under his Seahawks cap. James's chaos was bleeding into my family. "Keep Lucas safe, Emma," I said, my voice steady. "I'm on it." Sam Vega sent another file, and it was a bombshell. James's voice, recorded by Ryan, bragging to Paul Ramsey, "Miller's gone. We'll use cheap steel. Pocket $2 million. No one will notice." Paul's reply chilled me. "Like 22, we buried that collapse. Keep Miller quiet." I called Sam, my voice calm but hard. "Has James tried to bribe you yet?" He laughed, gruff. "Offered me $10,000 to wipe the servers. I told him to shove it." I smirked. Hope flickering. "Good call, Sam." I checked my laptop, the connection lagging as Sam's hack pulled more data. James's emails, Ryan's recording, Emma's files, Sam's intel. The pieces were falling into place. James wasn't just greedy, stealing my work. He was reckless, risking lives for profit. Emma's warning echoed. "Pinnacle hit a collapse in 22, Robert. This isn't their first cover-up." A chill ran through me. James wasn't alone. His skyscraper was cracking, and I'd bring it down. Could I trust Ryan's betrayal, or was he setting me up? Seattle's skyline gleamed through the glass walls of Thornton and Hayes' boardroom. a cruel reminder of the toxic workplace I'd built for 17 years. It was April 9th, 2025, and I stood in the heart of James Thornton's empire. My phone secretly recording, ready to tear his lies apart. He thought he could buy my silence with a $10,000 bribe. He was about to learn how wrong he was. James slumped at the table. Tie loose. Smile fake. Sign this, Robert. Take 10 grand. Walk away. His voice shook. Ryan sat quiet. Smirk gone. I leaned in. Voice cold. No deal, James. You faked my name. Stole my designs. $5 million. His empire cracked. Like a condemned tower. Ryan Brooks slouched beside him, eyes glued to the table, his usual smirk gone. I stared James down, my voice hard. No way, James. Why'd you fake my name? Why steal my $5 million designs? His lips twitched, his fingers drumming nervously. It was just business. Robert, your salary was bleeding us dry. I pulled out my spare phone, flashing the faked resignation contract. April 5th, 2025. My name. Faked. My plaza. Sold to Pinnacle. Credited to Ryan. His face paled, his breath catching. That's a mix-up, he stammered, glancing at Ryan. Ryan shifted, his hands shaking. I leaned in, my rage boiling but controlled. No mix-up. You emailed Pinnacle, planned a $5 million scam, used cheap steel. You thought I'd stay quiet? The room went still. James's panic thick in the air. His eyes darted, hunting for an escape. Ryan stood, his voice cracking. James, tell him the truth. It's over. I cut them off, my words sharp as steel. You stole $500,000 of my work? James, you gutted my career, my family's future. Your skyscraper's crumbling. James snapped, his voice rising, desperate. Think you've got me, Robert. You're nothing. His words spilled out, each one a nail in his coffin, my phone catching every lie. He didn't know he was confessing. A soft voice broke the silence, small but clear. Dad, why's Mr. Thornton yelling? Lucas stood at the door, his backpack slung, eyes wide under his Seahawks cap. My heart stopped. James froze, his face twisting. He stepped toward Lucas, hands unsteady. Kid, it's adult business. Go home. Everything's fine. Lucas backed up, scared, and ran to me. Dad, he's mad. I shielded Lucas, my arms tight, my voice low and fierce. You're safe. Lucas, I've got you. James trembled, his voice wild. You'll destroy me. Robert, you can't do this to my firm. My life. Ryan grabbed his arm, urgent. James, we need to go. Now. I blocked the door, my voice cold. You burned my career. James, you stole my designs, risked lives with cheap steel. You crossed the wrong man. They shoved past, James shouting. This isn't finished. If Harney, the door slammed, the sound echoing like a collapsing beam. I hugged Lucas closer, stopping the recording, sending it to David Quinn. James's confession, his lies, his desperation, all captured. Nora Clark burst in, her face flushed, her voice shrill. Robert, what have you done? James is our skyscraper, our foundation. I stared at her, my tone cutting. Your skyscraper's falling. Nora, you picked the wrong side. She fled, her heels clicking, her loyalty as fragile as James's scam. I held Lucas's hand, his sketch of a bridge still in my pocket. James had hurt my son, threatened my family. His empire was fracturing, and I'd caught his confession on tape. I wasn't wrong for fighting back. I was a father protecting what mattered. I had his confession, but would it be enough to bury him? The King County Courthouse stood grim under May's Seattle drizzle, rain tapping my shoulders like a warning. I wore a suit that felt stiff, my heart pounding like before a major pitch. This wasn't a drafting table. This was my war for Lucas, For justice. After my boss fired me for being too expensive. After 17 years as senior architect, David Quinn and Emma Hayes stood beside me, old colleagues packing the gallery, their nods fueling my resolve. James Thornton sat across, pale, next to his lawyer, Diane Holt, a Seattle shark known for dodging traps. Ryan Brooks slumped nearby, eyes hollow. The gavel cracked, and the battle began. Ms. Chen, our lawyer, rose, her voice slicing through the courtroom. James Thornton committed fraud, theft, and defamation, stealing $5 million of Robert Miller's designs, faking his resignation after 17 years of service. She laid out the evidence, each piece a sledgehammer. Sam Vega's emails proved he faked my name, stole my designs. Emma's files exposed Pinnacle's Plaza uses cheap steel, violating Washington code. My recording of James's confession echoed, his voice admitting the scam. Holt objected, her tone sharp, but the judge dismissed her. The gallery buzzed, colleagues leaning forward, their faith in me solid. James took the stand, his hands clasped, fake tears glistening. Your Honor, Robert was overpaid, unreliable. I saved the firm by letting him go. His lie stung, bold and shameless. Holt called Paul Ramsey, Pinnacle's CEO, who swore. Ryan Brooks designed the plaza. Robert was a has-been. My colleagues shifted, doubt creeping in. I gripped the bench, my pulse hammering, fearing James might slip free. Miss Chen stayed calm, her eyes locked on Ramsey. We request a forensic audit of Thornton's servers. James's face froze, his breath shallow. Holt stammered. That's excessive, Your Honor. The judge's voice was iron. Audit granted. Court recessed for 3 weeks. Those weeks crawled, each day a test of my strength. Lucas's bridge sketch, tucked in my pocket, kept me grounded. The audit struck. My designs, stolen. Ryan's name, slapped on them. James's emails, exposed. Cheap steel, lives at risk. One email linked him to a 2022 collapse, a $50,000 cover-up. I gripped Lucas's sketch. Justice was mine. The courtroom roared as colleagues cheered, their voices lifting me. Ramsey took the stand again, sweating under Miss Chen's questions. Did James know about Pinnacle's cover-up? Ramsey cracked, his voice shaking. He paid us to keep it quiet. We buried it together. Holt's papers scattered, her composure shattered. Then came the bombshell. FBI agents had raided Pinnacle's offices, linking James to a decade-old rigging scam that cost lives. Holt gasped, her pen clattering. Ryan stood, his voice raw. James forced me into this, Your Honor. The plaza was Robert's, stolen. I didn't fake his name. James screamed, his face twisted, veins bulging. You're lying. Ryan, you're all lying. The judge slammed the gavel, silencing him. I stood, holding Lucas's sketch, my voice steady. I built Seattle's skyline for my son, my city. James stole my work, risked lives, tried to erase me. I'm here for truth, for Lucas. The judge nodded, her eyes firm. She'd seen enough. The verdict landed, each word a victory. James Thornton, guilty of fraud, theft, and defamation. 5 years in prison, repay $500,000 to Robert Miller, plus $2 million in damages. Ryan Brooks, guilty as an accessory, 1 year in prison. James wailed, cuffed, his eyes pleading. Robert, I made you. You can't do this. My rage surged, but I met his gaze, cold. Your empire's a condemned high-rise. James, you built nothing but lies. Ryan shuffled out, head bowed, his ambition crushed. Colleagues clapped, some shouting. You're a champ. Robert, others muttering I'd pushed too far. Hours later, Emma called, her voice tight. James tried to flee. Caught at SeaTac with a fake passport. He's done. I held Lucas's sketch, my anger fading. He couldn't hurt us now. Lucas stirred beside me, his voice soft. Dad, is Mr. Thornton okay? My heart ached. He's in trouble. Lucas. But we're stronger together. The courtroom had given me justice, but the fight had cost me sleepless nights. Lucas's trust shaken. James was finished. But could I rebuild stronger for Lucas? The sun set. Our deck glowed. Laughter rose with BBQ smoke. It was June 2025, 2 months after James Thornton's empire collapsed. And I stood stronger. My fight for justice now a story of workplace revenge that reshaped my life. I wasn't just Robert Miller, the architect he tried to erase. I was a father, a survivor, building a new foundation for Lucas, for Claire, for myself. Our backyard hummed with laughter, friends and old colleagues raising glasses of local IPA. Lucas, 16, wore his Seahawks cap backward, tossing a football with his buddies, his grin brighter than ever. Claire leaned against me, her hand warm on my arm, her voice soft. You did it, Robert. You fought for us. She wondered my heart swelled, the weight of those dark April days fading. I'd won $500,000 in back pay, $2 million in damages. But this moment, this family, was my real victory. I opened Miller & Sons last week, a small firm in Ballard with a view of Puget Sound. Emma Hayes joined as partner, her loyalty fierce after risking everything to expose James's lies. David Quinn stopped by, his legal battle our backbone, and Sam Vega, the IT wizard who cracked James's servers, toasted to our future. The office was modest, just a few desks and my old design software, but it was mine. Lucas helped design our logo, a bridge inspired by his sketch, now framed above my desk. He'd earned a summer internship, his badge clipped proudly to his backpack. Dad, this is cooler than your old job, he said, eyes sparkling. I laughed, ruffling his hair. You got this. Lucas. A letter arrived yesterday, postmarked from McNeil Island Correction Center. James Thornton's scrawl filled 2 pages. No remorse, just venom. You owe me. Robert, I made you, gave you a career, and you stabbed me in the back. I smirked, tossing it into a drawer. Owe him? After he stole $5 million of my designs, faked my name, and risked lives with cheap steel? His skyscraper was a condemned ruin, his name a punchline in Seattle's architecture scene. Nora Clark vanished, her fawning, James is our skyscraper, silenced, likely hiding from the fallout. Ryan Brooks, out of prison early, faded into obscurity, his ambition a cautionary tale. I stepped onto the deck, the BBQ's smoke curling skyward. My old colleague, Mike, clapped my shoulder, his voice gruff. You're a legend, Robert. Not everyone fights a snake like Thornton and wins. I nodded, gratitude heavy in my chest. I owe David, Emma, Sam, and every colleague who stood by me when James spread lies. Some whispered I'd gone too far, that I should have taken the $10,000 bribe and walked away. But I wasn't wrong. James didn't just fire me. He tried to erase my legacy, to hurt Lucas's future. I fought for what was mine, for my son, for justice. Lucas called out, waving me over. Dad, show him your speech. I chuckled, pulling out my phone, where I'd typed a few words for today's toast. I cleared my throat, the crowd quieting, their eyes warm. 6 months ago, I lost my job, my name, almost my hope. James Thornton thought he could break me, steal my work, and walk away. But I stood up, fought back, and won. Not just for me, but for Lucas, Claire, for all of us who've been wronged. You're stronger than you think. Don't stay silent. Share your fight. Change the game. Cheers erupted, glasses clinking. Lucas beaming. Claire whispered, I'm proud. Robert, I hugged her, my voice low. We're just getting started. The fight had scars. Lucas still asked about James's anger, his trust shaken by that boardroom scene. I'd spent sleepless nights, fearing I'd lose everything, but those battles built this moment, this new foundation. Miller and Sons wasn't just a firm, it was a promise to Lucas, to Seattle, to create honestly, to build bridges that wouldn't fall. I looked at the sunset, the skyline I'd shaped glowing. James was gone, but I was here, stronger, ready for what's next. Don't stay silent. Share your fight. Change the game.